Hi there, welcome back, beautiful souls. How are you today? So how are you feeling now around this beautiful energy called money? It is all energy, by the way. All of it. All of it is energy or spirit, whatever it is you want to call it. So what was coming up as I was finishing off the previous video is to bring awareness to the following, right? So in my journey, okay, the last 10 years or so, 10 to 11 years, my focus has been solely on forgiveness. This is my path. This is what I was meant to do, to really study this beautiful art of forgiveness, because it is an art form, learning to forgive. Now, I love it. For me, it has become my passion because I've felt, and for myself, I've witnessed the freedom that it provides, so I just love forgiveness with all my heart. But before we step into that, okay, so the last 10 years or so, I have been completely focusing on just that, forgiveness, right? Before that, I have a lot of spiritual friends that seem to think that you need to do it all on your own. You need to work it out all on your own. Or that by some miracle, a lightning bolt from the sky is going to hit you on the top of the head and that spirit will be talking to you directly. That it needs to come that way. It needs to be direct from spirit, like from some kind of sign that's like a thunderbolt lightning thing. This is what they're imagining, I think, sometimes. They don't realize, I think, and I just leave them be because they're spiritual. I don't need to teach them anything. I don't need to be telling them anything. It's all spirit. For me, it's all spirit. It doesn't need to come a certain way or not. It'll come the way it needs to come. That's it for me. If it's meant for me, it will come one way or another, whether it's through another human being that says something that, because my path started that way. My awakening began with my husband saying, I'm still looking at my mum like I'm 5 years old. That's how this awakening began. From there, my husband said that. And then I started this beautiful self-esteem course. And at the time, I couldn't afford the course. It was out of my means. It was too expensive. I was in this lack state and we were heavily in debt at that time. So I went halves with my mother-in-law. The course was $500. It wasn't, for the courses I've done, it wasn't that expensive. But at the time, that was out of my budget. I just couldn't afford it. So I thought, so I went halves with my mother-in-law. We did that course. Now, this all happened roughly all at around the same time. Originally, I took the self-esteem course because it was for children. And I had just had my daughter. She was just born. And she was about 2 years old. And I thought, okay, I want to learn, how to build self-esteem in her, that she'll, be strong within herself. She'll know herself. And so I took the course for that. That's what I thought at the time. Right? Now, this is a course that I paid for, and this is something that's been coming into my awareness a lot lately. All the courses that I have done that have got me here. That course, I think I was halfway through it when my husband made that comment. And the moment he made that comment to me was that process started. Your past is a gift. Instantly, it started. I took everything I learned from that course, and I bought this whole stack of notebooks. And one day I just found myself, I just started writing and writing and writing. Every single memory that I could remember from my childhood, all of it. I wanted everything to be accounted for. And I had notebooks. I had so many. I had about 8 of them with all these memories, all these words, written words. This was the process originally for me. And then as I went through it, and I just thought, oh, there's so much gold here, because as I was going through it, I was starting to understand the gifts of why I went through that, the reason, the purpose, what I went through and why I went through that. And it was bringing so much clarity. There's something magical that happens when you write it down on paper. with a pen. And now you're looking at it as the observer. It's outside of you. It's hard to explain, but there is a magic that happens. You know, it's like it no longer belongs to you. You've put it out there onto a piece of paper. For me, it was such a cleansing experience. It was like I had, you know, I did this vomit and all this stuff came out, you know, and I just felt like a purge. You know, I was all throwing it all out there. That's it. It's all out there now. And so from that, I created a beautiful manuscript on A4 paper, which is about that thick. I typed it all up into the computer. You know, once I started looking at it, I thought, okay, how can I write this so that I can... I wanted to share it with my family. I wanted to share it with my husband, my mother-in-law, my closest cousin at the time. And I wanted one for my daughter because I thought then she knows firsthand my experience, how I see the world, not how someone else is going to interpret that I saw the world, but from my eyes, you know. And so mainly this whole process, the whole writing it down and putting it onto A4 paper was for my daughter, for her to have me, you know, the way I am, from my words, from my perspective. So that Christmas, by the time I'd finished, this was like a year-long process, if not more, I can't remember, but it took at least a year. I wrote it all down, printed it all out, I typed it all into the computer, printed it out. Those 4 copies were made that Christmas. And then after that Christmas, I just kept hearing this word, publish, publish. More people need this. And I thought, oh, okay. Because for me, it was such an incredible experience. I couldn't explain it. But I just felt like this weight had been taken off my shoulders, you know. And from there, from that moment, began the process of forgiveness. I mean, it already started when I started with all the notebooks. But from there, I really began to observe it, to analyze it, to study it, you know, the process of forgiveness. And then it became my passion. I just fell in love with the process. I was going to say I don't know why, but I just feel like it was my path to do that. You know, I was meant to do that. Now, after that was the course that I mentioned that I did that was like $16,000, because it was in US dollars. By the time I translated it to Aussie dollars, it was somewhere between 15 and 16. It was closer to 16,000. That course was over 2 years, that course that I did. And then after that course, I did the Reiki course with Melissa Crowhurst. That was beautiful. I did the sound healing course before that because I kept hearing the word healing. So I've followed, you know, whenever something has been presented to me, I've followed whether it resonated or not, whether it felt right or not, to pursue that. And mind you, this is in the days when I did the self-esteem course, was in the days where everyone was going on about, oh, you don't sign up to courses online because they're all scams, right? They're just going to be scammed. And yet for me, that first course was just life-changing. It just changed everything for me. That was the information that I needed at the time. Then my husband's beautiful quote, and that just set me into this new direction of awakening, you know. Now, what I've observed is that every course that I have done I have gained from that course. I have grown. I have evolved. I've always received something from it, you know, always. And this year, you know, when I've been guided to create all of these courses, I've realized those 10 years of me studying forgiveness so closely, so fully, was for this, because not everyone is here to do that. Some of us are really here to be in, you know, in something like that, to really study it, to really fall in love with the whole process and look at every aspect of it. Not everyone is here for that, but that process is now, you know, I've been guided to create it in 12 weeks. It's an intense course, you know, everything's in there. But what I've realized is that all the courses that I've done have saved me time, because I could have done that with everything that I've done. You know, instead of doing that 2-year course that I did, I could have tried to work that out on my own, thinking like my other spiritual friends, I have to do it on my own. And that could have been another 10 years, before anything happened, So the courses, for me, it's all spirit anyway. Like I look at it like it's all spirit anyway. I don't look at it, I know it is. And I know that if I'm guided to it, if I've been brought to it, if I keep hearing the word healing, and all of a sudden I keep seeing the word Reiki, Reiki, Reiki everywhere, and everyone's mentioning Reiki to me, then I follow that path. That's me. I follow it. I know that I've always had this knowing within me that this is the next step. This is what I need to do next. And these beautiful beings have created these courses with that awareness that we are going to need this. Whatever it is that you have to offer, there are beings out there right now that are looking for you and what you have to offer. They're looking for you. Their soul, because the souls are the ones that align all of this for us. They already know that you're going to need this person and you're going to need that person. You're going to need this course. You're going to need that course. Whatever it is for your path, for whatever it is that you're here to fulfill in your lifetime. So, my beautiful beings, courses, books, all of these things that take us so much time to put together. They take time. It wasn't until I started the process. The books I knew, because that was the first thing I started with, how time consuming that is. That does take time. But the courses was next level time, if you know what I mean. And that time that we put into it, that we put ourselves into it. Remember, time is the most precious thing. It's the most precious thing, not money. Money is just an exchange. And one thing that I've just recently, I found on Facebook, someone was saying something like, when we create these beautiful courses or the books or whatever it is that we're creating, we're putting out into the world, we are creating an opportunity for others that they may receive this information because it's for their path. And the exchange of money, the exchange, assists that person in committing to that course or that book or whatever it is that they've purchased. See, we don't see money like that. We look at it as, oh, we're taking money for something that we have for free. And it's got nothing to do with that. This exchange for money is a service that you're creating. Because when a person buys your book, when a person buys your course, when a person buys your services, they are committing to what it is that you're offering. And if it's forgiveness, for me, forgiveness is the greatest gift you can ever, ever, ever give to yourself. Ever. Not just for yourself. And this is the thing. When you truly forgive, it changes like your dynamics with everyone around you. So it's not just blessed your life, but you have now blessed everyone around you, that you no longer have this dense energy of resentment, of unforgiveness, of holding on to grudges. You bless everyone around you with this light energy now that you've been able to release all of that. So, my beautiful beings, as spiritual healers, whatever it is that you are offering, know in your heart that that exchange that needs to happen. It needs to happen. That other being needs to give you something for what you are giving them. There is an exchange. This is how the flow works. You cannot give and not receive. That is not flow. There needs to be a balance. There needs to be a balance. Yes, it's okay to give, but you need to allow yourself to receive as well. And if you are finding it hard to do that, think of it that way. this person, what they pay you for your services, for your courses, for your books, for whatever it is that you are offering, is an exchange. It's an exchange. And without that exchange, they may not commit to what you are offering them, no matter how wonderful that gift would be, like the gift of forgiveness. You see, when we charge money for what we're offering, you are asking that person to really commit to this process. How many times have you signed up for something that's free and you don't show up? Or it's free and you might do like the first 2 modules and go, it's free, I can't be bothered. You get a free book, do you bother reading it? That's why so many times it's like, what's the point of free? I've done so many free events where people just don't show up. They register, but because it's free, they don't show up. So many. You know, I might have in the registration, there might be 50 and only like 30 show up. Or 20 or whatever it is. Because it's free, there's no charge. And so people don't commit. When you put a price on what you're offering, you're asking that person to commit. Not to you, to themselves. This is the beauty of it, because everything is about you and your journey. And so it is with them. And know in your heart that if you've been guided to offer this service, you've been guided to create this course, you've been guided to write this book, whatever it is, write this song, whatever it is that you're creating, you're being guided to do that. There is someone out there that needs that is looking for that. So, my beautiful beings, is it time to let go of everything that's holding you back? Is it time for you to allow yourself? Because that's all it is. Allowing yourself to receive. Receive. We give, we give, we give. But you need to receive. There needs to be a flow. All right, my beautiful beings? There needs to be a flow. There needs to be balance. It can't be all give, give, give. You need to receive as well. We love you guys. Remember to click like and subscribe so you don't miss any of the messages. And let us know in the comments what's coming up for you as you hear these beautiful videos, these messages, I was going to say. I got caught between the 2 words. We love you dearly. Bye for now.